नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, verse number 17. 17. So yesterday we read how Krishna has instructed Yogamaya to take birth here in Vraja, and he also said how she will be worshipped with different names, and he informed that he will appear as the 8th child of Devaki, and also ask her to transfer Balaram from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb. And then we read how Krishna appeared in the mind of Vasudeva. So that is being described here. So Sabibhrat Paurusham Dhama Bhrajamano Yatha Ravihi Durasado Ati Uddharsho Bhutanam Sambhabhuva. So when Krishna came into his mind, then he became very effulgent, Bhrajamana, because he was carrying Paurusham Dhama, that the power of Krishna in him, or Krishna himself, just like the blazing sun. And it was difficult to be near him, Durasada and Ati Durdharsha, difficult to tolerate his prowess, his power. He was so brilliant, like the sun. So that means he knew that now Krishna has come in him, and this was obviously an occasion of happiness. So Krishna, probably when he was personally present, he was not appearing effulgent like this, because we don't hear that people could not come near him or couldn't look at him. It's not there? It's there. So that means he wanted it to be known. Otherwise we know that Krishna, when he was in Vraja, all the children are playing with him, and it's not that they cannot look at him and some effulgence is coming. He was a normal person. So it's up to him if he wants to manifest some specific power or not. So in this particular case, just to know. And this is also to know that he is not born as like an ordinary mortal child by a combination of semen and ovum of father and mother. So that is also the significance of this. That is just the way he appeared for people to think that he is born, otherwise he is unborn. Ajopisan Navyatma Bhutanam Ishwaropisan. So he comes by his own Atmaya. He is unborn. So that is also being described here. Paurusham Dhama Purushottamasya Pradurbhavam Dadhana. So Paurusham Dhama means, Dhama has various meanings. It means the rays, the light, the power, potency, house, body. Means carrying the potency of Purusha, Mahapurusha or Purushottama Krishna. So he is carrying the power in him. So Swasmin Pradurbhutam Krishnam Pashyaniti Artha. Means he could see that Krishna has become manifest in him. Dhama Dehe Grihe Rasmo Sthane Janma Prabhavayo iti Vishwa. According to Vishwakosh Sanskrit dictionary, the word Dhama means body. That is one of the meaning. Griha means also house. So like you say Bhagavad Dham, Golok Dham. So that is means his place of residence. And Rashmi, the light, is also called Dham. And Sthana, place, and Janma is also called Dham, and Prabhava, prowess, is also called Dham. So here it is used more in the sense of his prowess. Paurusham Dhama. Durasada pranibhir asanni bhavitum ashakya. So Durasada means that it was difficult for other people to come close to him because of that. So Durasada also means something which is very powerful, difficult to control. Jahi Satrum Mahabaho Kamarupam Durasadam. Right? Krishna says that this enemy in the form of Kama is Durasada. Means it is not easy to conquer over it. So Durasada in that sense means strong, very strong energy coming out of him. Ateva ati durdharsha kansadibhirapi abhibhavitum ashakya. And durdharsha means somebody who cannot be overpowered, subdued, conquered. So he was like that, that even Kamsa would not be able to overpower him because now he has the prowess of Krishna in him. So this is how Vasudeva appeared at that time. And then from him he got transferred into Devaki, that is being described in the next sloka. Tato jagan mangalamachyutansham samahitam shurasutena devi dadhara sarvatmakam atmabhutam kashtayathananda karam manastaha. So at that time Jagan Mangalam Achyutansham Samahitam Surashutena Devi. So Devi means Devaki Devi. So she got that Krishna who was in him from Surasuta. Surasuta is Vasudeva's father's name is Shurasena. So Samahitam means came to him. And who is that? Jagan Mangalam, who is the auspiciousness for the whole universe. And he is Sarvatmaka Atma Bhutam. He is the source of all the Atmas. And just as the moon appears in the eastern direction and everybody feels happy by seeing the moon, especially in the summer time when it's very hot, so like that moon comes, everybody feels happy. So in that way Krishna appeared. Krishna is also coming in moon dynasty, Chandravansha, so therefore it is also described. So Kashtha Yathananda Karam Manastha. Kashtha means direction. So just as we know that it is not that the eastern direction is creating the moon. Moon is already there, but it appears there. So in the same way, Devaki is not creating like a normal mother creates the child who grows in the womb from the ingredients of her body. So not like that. But he manifested like the moon manifests in the eastern direction. And he is the one who gives happiness to everybody, brings auspiciousness to all. There is no other auspiciousness. We want happiness, we want opulence, we want love. It can only come from Krishna, who is the source of it, and not from somewhere else. Tato bhagvans taddehat devki dehe pravishta ityaha tataiti. So thereafter Bhagavan Krishna, he moved from mind of Vasudeva into the body of Devaki. That is being described here. Jagatam Murtimat Mangalam. So he is called Jagan Mangalam because he is the personified auspiciousness, goodness for the whole universe. And Achyutansam. So Achyutansam can mean who is an Ansha of Achyuta, but that obviously does not fit here because Krishna himself is Swayam Bhagavan. So Achyutansha, he translates here that Chuti Rahita Ansha Narayana Nirshingadayo Yatra Tat. That the various anshas which are infallible, they are within him. So that is Krishna. Because when Krishna comes, then all other avatars, they also come in him. Because he is the complete manifestation. Sarvesham Bhaktanam Sarvasya Shambhorva. So he is the auspiciousness, especially for all the devotees. And Mangalam, Jagan Mangalam, he also says he is auspiciousness for Shambhu, Shiva. Then Kam Sukham Yatra Tat Atmano Mansa Atmakam. Giving a very special meaning to Sarvatmakam. Sarvatmakam generally translated that who is Atma of everyone. But Vishwanath Chakravarti is doing a little bit extra explanation. So Ka means happiness. And Atma also means mind. Right? Atmaevi Atmano Bandhu, Atmaevi Puratmano. So Bandhuratmanastasya yena Atmanev Atmana Jita. So when you control your mind with your buddhi, then mind is your friend, mind is your enemy. So Atma also means mind. So Atmaka means the happiness which is experienced in mind. And Sarvatmaka means he is the happiness for everyone. So that is nice meaning of Sarvatmaka. Atma Bhutam Atmanaiva Bhutam Swayam Avirbhutam. And then Sarvatmakam Atma Bhutam is also giving a different meaning. So Atma Bhutam means that he has appeared by himself. Means he is not an avatar. He is Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam Avirbhutam. Natu yoga with yatnena dharanaya mansi anitam. It is not that he has been brought into the mind by some yogic power or anything like that. Like yogis, they meditate, and then by meditation God appears in their mind. Like we read the story of Dhruva in Bhagavatam. He was meditating and then Vishnu appeared to him, first inside, then outside. So first appeared in his heart or in his mind, and then he appeared outside, appeared in his chitta vritti. So it is not that he appeared like that. It is not that Devaki sat on meditation and then Krishna appeared in her mind. But Atma Bhutam, he came by his own will. So that's the meaning of Atma Bhuta. Manasto Manasa Dadhara. So Manasta Dadhara means through her mind she held her. Tena Jivavat Janani Jathar Sambandho Varita. So why is it being described here? It is being described so that we understand from the very beginning that Krishna is not some ordinary human being, but he is Swayam Bhagavan. Because when we forget this, then we have doubts later on when we will hear his Leela that he was stealing or he was teasing the gopis, he stole their dress. So then the doubt comes. Why? Because we forget. Or when he was fighting with the Dantvakra, that was Shalva, and then Shalva created some magic, cutting the head of Vasudeva, and then Krishna became disturbed. So he says that you should keep this in mind, that it was not that he was confused by his magic. So Evam vadanti rajarshe kechan nanvita. So some people speak like that. Sukadeva Goswami says they forget what was said before. So this stage is set from the very beginning, so that later on we don't get confused, because he is going to do his Naralila, he is going to act like a normal human being, and then people start thinking, why is he doing it? So this is to explain that. So he says that we should not think that he is a product of Devaki's womb. So Janani Jathar Sambandho Varita, this relationship of his body with his womb of Devaki has been denied here. Ateva Anurupam Drishtanta Maha Kashtha. So therefore an appropriate example has been given here to make this point clear. Kashtha means direction. Anandakaram Chandram Yata. So just as the moon appears in the eastern direction, and not that eastern direction produces that. In fact, there is no such thing as eastern direction. Where is the eastern direction? So you move further down, then it is again down, down, down. Wherever you go, you will end up in the west. Right? If you keep on going to east, where do you go? You go to west, and then you will still say this is east. So this east, west, north, south, these are all relative terms. In Nyaya, how many directions are described? How many padarthas are there in Nyaya? 7, right? And then one of them is Dravya. How many Dravyas are there? 9. So what is one of the Dravyas? Direction, right? And they say direction is only one, right? Eka eva. So direction is only one, but according to our usage we make 4 or 8 or whatever.
So which is one direction?
It's just a direction. It's like time is only one time. There is no such thing as past, present and future. That divisions we make. Where is the past and where is the future? It's only the present time. Nobody has seen future, right? Whenever future will come, it will become present, right? And past was also present. So time is only present, right? But mind has this capability of going into future and past. No other sense has that power. Your eyes do not have the power to see in the present, future or past. The nose cannot smell anything which was here yesterday or what will be here tomorrow. It can only smell what is there now. But mind can think, right? You can think what you did yesterday here. But time is only one. So similarly, direction is only one, but you make many of them. Yes.
So some people use these Vastu principles then to build their houses and things because of the certain directions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering how does that work then? Like,
What is wrong? I mean, what is the problem in that?
Because they say, okay, this room should be facing west and the other.
Yeah, because
one
from
should
that
be-
point, wherever you are, then you have relative east and west.
Okay.
What is east side to that house? If that house, another has a house on eastern direction, that will be west of that house, right?
Okay.
So it's relatively east and west, and accordingly there is some energy which is involved.
Okay. But does this really work?
Yeah.
Like this Vastu principle?
No, it works.
Okay.
It's like if I if you ask me that you want to go to Loi Bazaar,
Yeah.
so I say you go to the east side, and then you walk this much, and then you turn to the north side, and you will reach the Loi Bazaar. So it works.
Okay.
So it is one, but we have made divisions of that for our practical application. Just like space is only one, right? But we have divided the space. We have this one room, so this we call as temple room. And we have another room that may be office room, reception room. It is the same one space, but you make divisions of it for your convenience. So similarly, there is only one direction, but for our convenience, we make these divisions. Same with time. The tattva is only one. So therefore, he says that the example here is to indicate this point that moon is not a product of any direction, but it manifests in the eastern direction. And that is also our convention. We call it east. We can call east as west and west as east. It won't make any difference. Just a word. It's up to us what we call it. Everybody agreed to call this east. So kiyad dinantaram tantu sa swakukshi madhyepi krishnam pashyanti babhuva iti gyam. So first Krishna came in the mind, and then from there she felt him in her belly, in her womb. So then she felt as if she is pregnant. So therefore she also understood that this pregnancy is not a normal pregnancy, but it is from first she felt Krishna, that Krishna is in my mind or heart. Basically heart is another word for it. And then she felt that he is now in the womb. So then, which means that she got the feeling that I am pregnant with Krishna. And everybody else also felt like that she is pregnant. So therefore there is a statement, Dishtyamate kukshi gata parahapumana. So therefore later on a sloka will come that by great fortune Krishna has come into your womb. This is a statement made by Devas, because they will come and pray to her, and after that they speak to her.
Babaji,
Yes.
here is, we say, Kiyad Din Anantaram. So stay some days, is it in Vishnu, is it in Vasudev? In mind, Krishna stayed there and then it transferred into, or it's on the same time?
No, it is in the mind of Devaki. So he stayed in the mind of Devaki for a few days, and then from mind he went into the womb. So some commentators have explained it, that just like giving Diksha, like the Guru gives Diksha, so it goes from the mind of the Guru to the disciple's mind, and then the disciple assimilates that. So similarly, Krishna was transferred from mind of Vasudeva to Devaki's mind, like a mantra, because mantra is also a form of Krishna. Mantra, Krishna, deity, they are name of Krishna, they are all non-different. So just as mantra is given by Guru to the disciple, like that Krishna gave, Vasudeva gave Krishna to Devaki, from his own mind to her mind. But then after a few days from the mind, he came into the womb, so that everybody will see that he is taking birth from it. He did not take birth, he just, again as we will read later on, he just manifested. And she felt that he has been born. But we know that he came out with all dressed and 4 hands. So this is how he manifested.
Which commentator was that?
Vishnath.
No, the commentator who said that just like Diksha.
Vaishnav. सा देवकी सर्व जगन निवास भूता नितराम नरेजे भोजेन्द्र गेहे अग्नि सिखे विरुद्धा सरस्वती ज्ञान खले यथा सती. So now he says that Devaki, Sa is no need of saying here, but Sa here means that great. Sometimes Sa is used, means pronoun is used along with the noun. So generally we don't use that. You don't say he Krishna did this. Right? You say Krishna did this or he did this. But he Krishna did this. So Sa Devaki means she Devaki or that Devaki. So she became the residence for that person who is the residence for everyone. Krishna is called Jagannivasa, means the whole universe is in him. Matsthani sarvabhutani naham teshu avasthita. So the whole universe is in him and he is in Krishna. I mean Devaki. So you heard this song, Naav mein nadiya डूबी जाए. Naav mein nadiya डूबी जाए. So the river is drowning inside the boat. Think of that. You have seen or heard or read that boat drowned in the river, but river drowning in the boat is something unusual. So you hear that everything is inside God, but hearing that God is inside means the whole holder of the whole universe, because the very word used is Jagannivasa, is inside Devaki. So Nivas Bhuta Nitram Nareje. But the interesting thing is that she did not shine. Means she was covered. Her effulgence remained covered. Why remained covered? Because she was in the prison. Not that she was not effulgent, but imagine if she was going to give birth to Krishna and she was in a palace, and what festival would have been and how she would have been honored. Think of, say, Mother Kausalya in Ayodhya when she was pregnant. Big festival means everybody is celebrating. Here she is going to be the mother of Krishna. Swam Bhagavan, she is in the prison, confined to a small place, means she is covered. So therefore it says that Sa Devaki Sarva Jagan Nivas Bhuta Nitram Nareji. Means Nitram means completely. Not that she did not shine at all, but not the way she should have been shining. Why?
Out with the effulgence of 1,000 suns.
Yes, Bhojendra Gehe, because she was in the house of Kamsa, in the prison of Kamsa. Agni Sikhai Viruddha. It's like fire which is covered. So fire, wherever it is, it shines. But if it is covered with something, some ashes, then you don't see it. So Saraswati Gyan Khale Yatha Sati. So he gives another example. There is a popular word in Sanskrit. It is called Gyan Khala. Khala means a wicked person. An evil person is called in Sanskrit Khala. And Gyan Khala means he is not only wicked, but he is wicked with knowledge. So there are some people who have knowledge, but they don't want to give it to anybody. The beauty of knowledge is when you distribute it, because then only it shines. Knowledge shines when it is distributed. But if you have knowledge and you keep it within yourself and sit, then that knowledge will go with you. Like many times in India, you see some people, they know something, they don't want to tell it to anybody. Right?
Unless they can monetize.
Yes. So, especially many Ayurvedic doctors, they will know some formula, something which works. They will not teach it to others. Or some great yogis, they know some yogic. In yoga also there are many techniques. Not only what you read, Kapalbhati and Bastrika and all that, but there are many other things which you don't read in the books. You have to only hear it from people who practice them. But they don't tell it. Then it goes with them. So he says it is just like Saraswati, who is in a Gyan Khala. Means it is Ruddha, it is just stuck there, like a stagnant water. So she was like that. She should have been shining outside, but she was inside the prison. So Saraswati Gyan Khale Yatha Sati. So this Gyan Khala is considered like an abusive word in Sanskrit. They say that such people become Brahma Rakshasas. Because if you have gotten knowledge, in India, knowledge was not given by money. In the olden days, people used to teach without charging. Anyone who is an inquisitive person comes to you, you teach. So obviously he got knowledge from somebody. So then it is his responsibility to give that knowledge. That's why there is one debt called Rishi Rin, or debt to the sages. So how do you get free from that? By studying Shastra and by teaching it to others if you are capable. So that's how you become free from that. So Gyan Khala is like a miser, like some people have a lot of wealth, but they don't want to use it even on their own self, like the Nizam of Hyderabad. He was a very rich person. He was one of the richest person. He had so many jewels that once a year he used to put it in the sun and think it will be spread on 17 roofs. But he himself will be wearing some dirty cloth. There is a story that he had a cap which he was using for 30 or 40 years. So that is miser by wealth. So Gyan Khala is somebody like that. So Prakrita Sarva Jagan Nivasasya Shri Harer Nivas Rupa Satyapi Nitram Sarva Janasya Alhadaktaya Na Reje. So Krishna is the place of residence not only of the material people but also spiritual people, because everything is in him. He is the ultimate reality. So all spiritual beings, all the associates, devotees, everybody is in him, like he showed in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Prasida Devesa Jagan Nivasa. Same word is used by Arjuna to Krishna, that please be pleased with me, O Jagan Nivasa. And he is not saying Jagan Nivasa like we are saying, he actually saw it. He had an experience of Jagan Nivasa. So Krishna is the Jagan Nivasa, but now he himself is residing within Devaki. So Sri Harer Nivas Rupa, yet so should have been the cause of pleasure for everybody. All the residents of Mathura would have been happy, but she did not shine forth like that because she was confined into the prison of Kamsa. किंतु तत्रत्य स्वांतरंग द्वित्र जन सहितस्य स्वस्य एव इत्यर्थः. Rather she was the cause of pleasure only for few people. For herself, for Vasudevan, maybe one or two people who were, just at the gate guarding them, or maybe bringing food for them. Yatah Kamsasya grihe ruddha. Why was that? Because she was imprisoned. Agnishikha iva iti sayatha grihe ruddha nagaram na prakashayati किंतु गृहस्थित वस्तु एव तथा स्वस्वमीप वर्तिनाम द्वित्र जनानाम शीतादि नासिका च तथैव इत्यर्थ. So just like if there is a blazing fire and it is kept only in a small room, so it cannot light the place outside. It can probably light the whole village, big fire, but if it is inside a room, then it does not do that. But it lights only that particular room, and it can only dispel the cold of few people who are near to that fire. But if it is outside, then many more people can come and take advantage and feel happy. So in the same way, Devaki was also confined. यथा च सा प्रबला सती रोधकस्य गृहं दहति तथैव देवकी अपि कंसस्य ऐश्वर्यं धक्ष्यति इत्यर्थः. So just as the fire, if it is very strong fire and you try to confine it into a room, then it will burn that room and come out. So he says it's also indicating that Devaki's fire will also one day burn Kamsa's palace and come out. Gyan khale gyan vanchake ruddha saraswati. So gyan khala means who is vanchaka, who deceives and does not teach. So sarva loka anupkarani sati yathana rajate. So that knowledge which is meant to give welfare to others also, he does not give it, so therefore that knowledge does not shine. Right? So like they say, pustakasthetu ya vidya parhastagatam dhanam karya kale samatpanne na sa vidya na tad dhanam. The knowledge which is in the book, money which you have loaned to somebody, when the time comes, that knowledge is not knowledge and that money is not money. Means you cannot use it. It may be your money, but if you have loaned it to somebody, now when you are in need it yourself, you cannot use it. So similarly, knowledge, if it is only in the book and you have not assimilated it into your own self, then you cannot use it. So Gyan Khala is like that. Knowledge confined to the book or to that particular person. It cannot benefit. Maybe it cannot benefit even him. He is so miser. Right? Some miser people have money and they don't even use it for themselves. So that Gyan Khala is so miser that even he doesn't use it. Because if you don't practice knowledge, you can also forget it. Right? Vidya without abhyasa, it also disappears. Right? About Nyaya, they say Chanordhama Tarkika. There is a sloka in Sanskrit that says that if you give up the practice of Vyakaran for a week or so, you become a Vaiyakarana, no more a grammarian. If you don't practice Nyaya every day, you are not a Nyayik. You have to practice every day. Chanordham Atarkika. Become Atarkika. You are no more a logician. You have to continuously practice Vidya. So that's what people were doing in India all the time, having debates, nothing else. Like wrestlers. If you don't wrestle, right?
Shadow boxing.
Then your muscles will become weak. So you have to train your muscles, keep on practicing your Vidya. If nothing else, let's have a debate. So So even now they have this Vakyarth Sabha. Sometimes you can hear them on the YouTube. Vakya. Yeah, Sanskrit. Yeah. Recently I was listening to one in Bangalore. So these Pandits, they get together and they just take one topic. So there were Madhvaites on one side and Advaitwadis on the other side. And it's such a nice debate.
Sounds interesting.
Yes. So it's interesting to listen, and it's in Sanskrit. So papatishayena swarodhakam cha kalena yatha nashyati tatheva swapradhena kanshamapi devaki nashishyati. So he says that in the same way, if somebody does not give knowledge, then such a person is considered as sinful and he will be destroyed. As I said, usually they say such a person becomes a Brahma Rakshasa. Means he will become, Brahma Rakshasa means is a type of ghost. Rakshasa here is not Rakshasa, but actually in the next life such a person becomes a ghost. And they have to teach to somebody to get rid of their ghostly body. So he also says papatishaya, that this is sinful not to give that knowledge. Swarodhakam cha kalena yatha nashyati. So that knowledge will ultimately destroy that person. So swapradhena kanshamapi devaki nashishyati. So in the same way, because
It's like the Saraswati, she the goddess is doing it. The goddess is the goddess herself, who is in the knowledge, that she comes and destroys it.
yeah, because you are not giving it to others, then people will what?
So it's like an offense to Saraswati.
Yeah, it is an offense to Saraswati, and people will also criticize you. And look, this fellow. I mean, people will not be happy with you. Just like if you have money, and everybody knows you are rich, but you are miser. You think people like that? So they turn against you. They'll try to do something that they criticize you, that nobody cooperates with you. So there was once one rich person. He was in the boat, and he was standing on the side of the boat, and boat shook and he fell inside the water. And he didn't know how to swim. So he's, moving his hands and legs and drinking little bit water. And people, there are many people in the boat, but nobody is trying to help him. So one young man, he jumps and he saves him. And then he brings him to the shore of the river. So then the man is very happy, he thanks him. And then he brings out $1 from his pocket and he gives to him. So everybody gets, what? You are just giving him only $1? He risked his life to protect you. So the young man said, no, he is doing the right thing, because that is his value. He thinks he's worth $1. So that is a miser. Tam viksha kanshah prabhyajita. Yeah. Kansam api devaki nashishyati. So in the same way, Devaki will also destroy Kamsa because of his offense to her. Because he's trying to confine her. Just as if you try to confine the fire, then fire will burn. If you try to confine knowledge, then knowledge will destroy you. So Kamsa is trying to confine Devaki, so Devaki will be the cause of his destruction. That is the meaning. तां वीक्ष्य कंसः प्रभयाजितान्तरां विरोचयन्तीं भवनं शुचिस्मिताम् आह एष मे प्राणहरो हरिर्गुहां ध्रुवं श्रितो यन्न पुरेयमीदृशी. So now Kamsa also saw Devaki. So why did he see her? She is in prison, he is in his own palace. So he must be now worried because now the 8th one is coming. So when the time was coming, he came, he was probably making a round every day there to make sure that these people do not escape and make sure and alert, because then all the guards will be very alert. Kamsa is coming, Kamsa is coming. Not that they are lax, they are sleeping or chatting and doing something on the WhatsApp and they slink away. So Kamsa was being very careful. He was coming, and one day when he came, he saw Devaki. And he says, Sa tam viksha kamsaha prabhaya ajitantaram virochayantim. So he saw Devaki, who had Ajita inside her. And she was shining, she was very effulgent. Bhavanam Suchi Smitam. Not only that she was shining, but actually she was shining the whole room. The whole room was lit because of Devaki's presence, and she seemed very happy. Other times when he came, she was sad because he came to kill these children, and so she was not in a good mood, but now she was smiling. Suchismitam. Very beautiful smile. So therefore Kamsa knew that now aa gaya beta. Ab bacho. Now try to escape, do what you want to do. So aha esha me prana haro harir guham. So he spoke this aha. Obviously he didn't say it to anybody, but spoke within himself, that esha me prana haro harir guham dhruvam shrito yanna puraya midrishi. That now my killer Hari Harti Papani, that's why he's called Hari, but Hari Harti Dushtan, he kills Kamsa. So Kamsari is Hari. So he has come inside Guham, in the cave. The womb of Devaki is like a cave. And Shritaha Dhruvam. Certainly he has appeared there, because I have never seen Devaki like this before. So, yatra yatra dhuma tatra tatra vanni. He must know Nyaya. So he saw this effulgence, and he has not seen Krishna. So just like when you see the smoke, by seeing the smoke you can infer that there must be fire there. So by seeing the effulgence, he knew that this is Krishna here. Why? Because unless you have seen smoke and fire before together, you cannot make inference. You have to have the experience of smoke and fire together. And then you see only smoke, then you can infer fire. So as Kalnemi, he has seen Vishnu and Vishnu's effulgence. Right? So therefore he has his yatra yatra prabha tatra tatra Vishnu. Whenever you have this effulgence like this, that's where Hari is there. So now he got scared. Big hero, now he is full of fear. So generally the big mafias are most fearful people. That's why they never come out without bodyguards. Common person is fearless. These people are full of fear. So now he has absolute fear for his life, because he is certain now. Earlier also he had seen Devaki pregnant, but not like this. So now he remembers that prophecy which he heard at the time of Devaki's marriage, that the eighth son of Devaki will kill you. किमद्य तस्मिन् करणीयमासु मे यदर्थतन्त्रो न विहन्ति विक्रमम् स्त्रिया स्वसु गुरुमत्यावधोऽयं यशश्रियं हन्ति अनुकालमायुः. So now he is thinking, kimadya tasmin karniyamasu me. What shall I do? You heard the statement, kim karomi kva gacchami. What shall I do? Where shall I go? Right? So now Kamsa is thinking like this. Kim karomi kva gacchami. So kimadya tasmin karaniyamasu. What is that I have to do in this particular situation?
So here's a question. As seen that till last moment he was arrogant, aggressive, and thought he would be able to kill Krishna. And here what you say is that he knows that Hari has arrived.
Yes.
And probably he knows his destiny also, that will happen. So is he in two thought processes simultaneously?
Yeah, but he
That
thinks...
he's pretending to be aggressive?
No, he thinks that he can also kill him. You see, this is the foolishness of Asurik Buddhi. Ko asti sadrisho maya. Right? In Bhagavatam, Krishna, when he is speaking about Asuras, thinks ko asti sadrisho maya. The pride of a foolish person. This is the characteristic of a foolish murkha. Murkhasya panchchinnhani. 5 symptoms of a foolish person. So one of them is this pride. There's nobody like me. You know, like narcissistic people, they think like that. You see sometimes, अरे भगवान वगवान क्या होता देख लेंगे. Have you heard some people talking like that? So tiny fellow, he thinks that he can challenge Bhagavan. From his pores of the body the universe is coming. If this whole universe disappears, nobody will even notice it. It's such insignificant in front of him. If one of the universes disappears, what will happen to Mahavishnu? He won't even notice it. Inside that, so many solar systems and one earth planet and that small guy standing, and people challenge God. So this is the Asurik Buddhi. Yakshay dakshami modishya. Right? Asau maya hata shatru hanisya cha aparanapi. I have killed this enemy, I'll kill the other also. This is how Asuras think. They think that they are
Ultimate.
Yeah. So this is obviously a depiction of Asurik Buddhi. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is showing what is Asurik Buddhi. Here we have an example of that. It has to be seen like that. So he says that what shall be done now? Yadartha tantro na vihanti vikramam. He says this person, he is going to show his prowess. He is not going to, he's coming for that. So striya swasur guru matya vadhoyam yashashriyam hantyanu kalamaya. So first solution is that shall I kill Devaki? So if Devaki is killed, this baby will be killed. Right? Na rahega mas, na mijegi masuri. But then he thinks like this, that no, if I do that, then that is not good. Because even Asuras, even corrupt people, even religious people, they want to be known as religious. They don't want to be known as some evil, wicked people. They will also come to temple. They will also want to be on the stage and praised as some righteous people. They don't want to be known as evil person. So he knows that if I kill, then people will criticize me. Already many Yadavas have left and they have turned against him. Then all other people will also turn against him. No matter who you are, after all you are king because of people. And if people turn against you, then what kind of a king you are and what would you do? Everybody has to depend on others. So he says, first of all, she is a woman. And killing a woman is very sinful according to Dharma Shastra. Then she is my sister, so even more sinful to kill one's own sister. Third, she is pregnant. It is even more sinful to kill a pregnant woman because you are killing two actually. So therefore he says, Vadhoyam yasha shriyam hantiyanu kalamayu. That if I kill her, then it will destroy my fame, my Aishwarya, my power, and ultimately my life. So, Yasho Shriya, what is that? Balo Yasha Shriya Dharmam, Punsham, Anti Punsham. So, if you do some offense, then one's yash, fame, power, ayu, these are all destroyed. So he is also thinking that it will actually will not be in my favor. Because if I had to kill, I should have killed when that prophecy was spoken. That is the time I should have killed, but somehow I got convinced by Vasudeva. So now it is wrong to do that. I have already killed 6 children and now I am going to kill her. I should have avoided killing these 6 children if I had killed her at that time. And now she is under my care. And he also remembers that Devaki was ultimately his sister and much younger to him. So they have played together, they have lived together, and now to kill her. So he says, no, that is not good. I will take care of the guy when he is born, as I have done before. So thinking like this, he desists from killing her. So we'll stop here and we'll read the commentary tomorrow if there is any question.
Babaji, Hare Krishna. You are saying 5 symptoms of foolish person. One is pride. What are the other 4?
Hati, Garvi, one who is very obstinate, who does not take advice from others, proud. I don't remember the other 2. Paroktam naivam hati garvi, something paroktam naivam manyate. I don't remember. I can check. So, yes.
So then, basically, in his mind, in Kamsa's mind, there is no compassion, there is no feeling of empathy for the sister. There is only he's calculating what is good for himself. So basically, he shows complete selfishness.
Well, that's what we already studied earlier when he wanted to kill her in the previous chapter, remember? That people can do anything. Matram pitram bhratrin sarvascha suhridasthatha gnanti sutripo rajane prayasha bhuvi. That people can kill their own mother, their father. I mean, you read all these stories all the time. So for their selfishness, they can do that. So many times the stories come.
Ji, in Nectar from Number books, I have listed these 14 names along with their places of worship.
Okay. But have you the five symptoms of a fool also there?
Oh, that I didn't get from you.
So Murkhasya Panchachinnahani, that is how the sloka goes, and then Hati Garu is something Paroktam Manyate. I don't remember the full sloka. Anything else? Okay.
Babaji, I had a
Yes.
Babaji, some days ago you acted as a devil's advocate.
Yes.
You repeated arguments against Kamsa's killing of, saying that Kamsa was right in killing, or he should have killed Devaki and Vasudeva. Because protecting oneself is the highest principle. Can you refute that, please?
So there are things like this, that life has a purpose, okay? And therefore we have to protect, because life is like means for us to achieve our purpose. As we say, there are 4 purusharthas. So if there is no life, then you cannot achieve your purushartha. In Ayurveda they say dharmartha kam mokasya arogyam moolam uttamam. That health is needed whether you want to be successful in business or for enjoyment, to execute dharma or to attain moksha. So therefore life should be protected. But if the life itself is going against the principle you want to achieve, then what are you going to do? Life is only a means. Life is not the goal. So to achieve the goal, you need the life, and therefore you should protect it at all cost. But if the life itself becomes an obstacle to your goal, then what are you going to do? Protect the life and forget the goal? So now if he is going to kill Devaki, and purpose is, even if you say purpose is dharma or purpose is enjoyment, whatever it is, dharma, artha, kama, any of these purusharthas will not be fulfilled. So you are protecting your body. Why are you protecting your body? So that you can enjoy, right? Even materialistic people, why they want to live? If you ask them, why do you want to live? What is the difference if you die? So no, because I want to enjoy. Because life is not just for the sake of life. Life is meant for something. But if you are not able to achieve that, rather it is going against it, then better sacrifice that. So sometimes people also sacrifice their life. Even soldiers sacrifice their life. So if Kamsa is going to kill Devaki, then it goes against everything. There is obviously no question of moksha, but it goes against dharma. And artha and kama are, according to Vedic principle, come from dharma. Dharmad arthasya kamasya sakim artham na sevyate. Right? So therefore, to save your life by engaging in such a heinous crime does not serve the purpose.
So what exactly is a demon, Rakshas?
Means who is very much attached to the physical body. You know, that story is there in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It's a very beautiful story. That Indra and Virochana, Indra is king of Devas, Virochana is king of Asuras. They both heard that Prajapati had said that Atma is Ajar, Amar, Vijagitsu, Apipasa and all that. That Atma is free from birth, death, grief, and it is immortal. And anyone who knows this becomes that. So they both ran to Prajapati. And they lived there for 32 years. And after 32 years, Prajapati came to them and he asked, what do you want? So they both repeated that statement. They probably are repeating it every day. So he says, this is what we want. So he says, okay, that's very good. I am impressed by your patience. So he told them, it's a long story, but in short, he took them to a lake and he says, do you see, what do you see there? He says, we see our reflection. He says, now you go and you dress up. So they dressed up nicely with garland, helmet, everything. Before they were students, so they were humble. So now what do you see? He says, now our self is dressed like this. He says, that is the self.
That is it.
Self. What you see, that is the self. So they both left. He says, wow, this is so simple. Now we are immortal. So Indra left and Virochan also left. So Virochan went and he declared to all the asuras that this body is the self, you know this, and feed it and do everything. And Indra was started thinking, why? He says that body is this. He says, but if I become blind, then Atma becomes blind, but Atma is supposed to be immortal. So this does not make sense. So he came back. And then he lived another 32 years before he got the next lecture. So he ultimately, he has to repeat it actually 4 times, 32 years, 32 years, 32 years, and I think next time some 80 years or something. But Virochana never came back. So anyway, the story, and it is written there. He says, those who think that this body is the self, they are the asuras. He says they decorate the body even when they die. They decorate the dead body. So this is the asura. Means who thinks that this is the only life we live, that YOLO. You live only.
So I'm ahead of Indra. He came after 32 years, I came only after 22 years.
So that is what asura.
All Christians are asuras because they decorate the dead body.
But in Indian tradition also they decorate.
Yeah, they decorate the
No,
people
well,
dressed with their bridal dress when they leave the body.
I don't know, I have not seen it.
Married women.
Married women.
Okay.
Married women, when they die, they decorate with nice sari, jewelry,
Sindoor.
But jewelry also?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, was not doing it during the relation, but in the house, everybody decorates.
I don't think that they.
They do.
Yeah, they decorate and then people come and see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All friends, relatives, they come and see the dead body.
No, that is he's,
Or flowers.
he's talking about Christians.
Okay. But even in Hindu it is there.
I don't know, I've never seen it. Anyway,
No, but for normal course, like when you are not very old or you are not a married woman,
Yeah,
then,
not that time.
then
When
you
you're
take off
married.
everything.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Then you just trapped in a white
Yeah.
cloth.
So if you're married and you have left your husband.
Married, then you go like a bride
Mm.
Yeah.
to the cremation ground. And if you are an old person, very old, 80, 90, then they decorate also nicely.
okay.
So,
ये बाबा जी इन्होंने पोस्ट किया है भूषण जी ने
Hmm.
तस्य पंच चिन्हानि गर्वो दर्वचनम तथा क्रोधस्य दृढ़वादस्य सर्वाक्यस्य नादस्य
Yeah, okay, so that is, those are the 5.
if you
व्हाट इज दृढ़वादस्य
Hmm?
दृढ़वादस्य
Drit?
दृढ़वादस्य
I think maybe it's harsh speech.
बहस जो करता है बहस करने वाला
I think not bahas but speaks harshly.
एंड परवाक्य ना जो दूसरे के वाक्य का अनादर करना
Hmm. Paroktam naiva manyate is also said. Parvakyam another is same meaning.
Babaji, Durvachan is also given, that will not be harsh speech. Dradvadashya must be something else.
I have to see how it is written. Anyway, you know fools. All right.
Babaji, would you please tell what the further lessons Indra got?
And he got that your mind and then beyond that buddhi and finally Atma was explained. he was ultimately explained what is Atma beyond body and mind.